Hey everyone, welcome back. In the last video, I went over a few of the characteristics that we may want and don't want in a currency. In this video, I'm going to provide you with a high-level overview of how Bitcoin has the characteristics that we do want, and I'll explain the concepts on screen using an analogy. Just to recap, we don't want anyone to be able to create counterfeit money, and we want to keep the inflation rate low and stable. Gold seemed like a good fit, but it's just not that convenient to transact in gold if you're trying to make a big purchase or if you want to send money to a friend or family member in another country. Let's take a look at how Bitcoin solves these problems. First, new Bitcoins can't be printed or created at will. They come into existence through a process known as mining. There are thousands of computers right now listening to all of the Bitcoin transactions being broadcast around the world every second. These computers take these transactions, verify that they are in fact legitimate by checking that the sender actually owns the Bitcoin that they're trying to sign off on, and then groups them together in a candidate block. Then a competition begins for a miner's block full of transactions to be accepted by everyone else in the Bitcoin network. To explain the competition between miners, I'm going to use an analogy, and I'm going to try to keep it simple. The analogy isn't perfect, but the idea is close enough. Remember when you were a kid and someone asked you to guess the number they were thinking of? They would think of a number between 1 and 10, and then everyone playing would try to guess the number? In the Bitcoin network, it's kind of like that. Every miner on Earth, and remember there's thousands, is trying to guess the right number. And if they guess right, their candidate block full of transactions is added to the chain of all previous blocks that contain every transaction ever made on the Bitcoin network. This history of every transaction ever made is called the blockchain. But the game isn't from 1 to 10. It's more like playing a game from 1 to 65 sextillion, so you can see how hard it is to guess the number. When a miner guesses a valid number, it tells all the other miners that it won, and they can verify that it's true. The winning miner receives a prize called the block reward. And this reward is how brand new Bitcoins come into existence. There's no other way for Bitcoins to be created. And with the way the system is set up, approximately every 10 minutes, one miner will guess the right number. With better hardware, your computer can make more guesses in the game, and thus give you a better chance of winning. But it's really difficult for an average computer to compete against mining pools and mining farms containing lots of specialized hardware designed to guess much faster than your computer can. But if you do get lucky and win, you've proven to the world that you probably took a lot of guesses in order to guess the right number, which was a lot of work for your computer, for which you have to pay electricity. So that's why this is called the proof of work algorithm. As soon as that miner wins the game, every other miner adds the winner's candidate block to the blockchain of all transactions, and the next round of guessing begins. Because everyone has the same copy of the same blockchain, you can achieve a global consensus in a trustless manner with Bitcoin. Proof of work and mining keep the Bitcoin network secure and allow everyone to agree on the history of all transactions, who owns which Bitcoins, and so on, without needing a government, bank, or any other third party to get involved. It also prevents anyone from spending the same Bitcoin twice. Thus, Bitcoin solved the double spend problem. Before Bitcoin, no one had figured out how to prevent anyone from spending a digital coin more than once, without everyone having to trust a third party. In our current system, we all trust a third party such as a bank or a service like PayPal or Venmo to keep our money safe and allow our transactions to go through. But these third parties can place limits on how much money we send, who we can send money to, and sometimes moving money around can take days and have very high fees. If you're traveling internationally or want to convert your money for a friend or family member around the world, you're going to have to pay a fee to exchange your currency into another currency, and then probably pay a sending fee on top of that. Bitcoin removes these inefficiencies and risks because we are in full control of our Bitcoins. We can send any amount of Bitcoin that we own to anyone with an internet connection around the world without needing any third party to get involved, in minutes. This is an awesome power to have, but it does come with a lot of responsibility too. In the beginning, when Bitcoin started on January 3rd, 2009, the reward that the winning miner received for guessing the right number was 50 Bitcoins. So every 10 minutes, 50 new Bitcoins came into existence. In the Bitcoin source code, you'll see that this reward is cut in half every 210,000 blocks. So that's what we call a halving. And the first halving event occurred on November 28, 2012. And then the mining reward became 25 Bitcoins. The second halving took place on July 9, 2016. And then the block reward was cut in half to 12.5 Bitcoins. And just last month, on May 11, 2020, the third halving event occurred. And now every miner receives 6.25 Bitcoins when they mine a block. The creator of Bitcoin designed this system to have a fixed money supply, as there will only be 21 million Bitcoin in existence by 2140. Currently, there's about 18.5 million Bitcoin that have been mined. And because of this design, the inflation rate of Bitcoin started off really high but has decreased quickly and is currently at 1.8%. Also, because some people have lost access to their Bitcoins and the inflation rate will continue to decrease, Bitcoin is considered a deflationary currency. To recap, Bitcoin can't be counterfeited because every Bitcoin is the trail of transactions leading back to the block when it came into existence. Miners verify transactions and keep the network secure. Miners are competing against each other and use up a lot of electricity in trying to mine a block. For doing this, they're rewarded with new Bitcoin when they get lucky and mine a block. Each block that's mined, every 10 minutes on average, creates a certain number of new Bitcoins. And this number created can be determined by Bitcoin's source code. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments below and I will respond. If you learned something new, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like. And be sure to subscribe to be notified when the next video comes out.